Hello everyone, I'm Nishananjit Ratanarat, or you can call me Mimi for short. Today our team would like to present the topic of cross-cultural ethics and the corporate social responsibility or CSR on the IKEA case. Firstly, let me introduce our team members. The first is Tanu Bhatia, second is Khadija, and the third is Samira, and the last is Mingui Deng. There are five topics for our agenda today. First is introduction, case background, and key reasons. Then is IKEA ethical dilemma and cross-cultural ethics. Next is corporate social responsibility or CSR. Then is recommendations. Next is IKEA actions and repercussions. And the last is Q&A in case that you have any question. In a globalized business environment, managing ethics and corporate social responsibility or CSR across cultures play a critical role, particularly when navigating cross-cultural contexts. Ethics is concerned with the moral principles that define what is right and wrong, whereas CSR involves a company commitment to contribute positively to society and environment beyond its profit-making goals. In cross-cultural management, the local traditions, um, legal system, and social norms significantly influence ethical consideration across the regions, particularly the complex moral dilemmas that arise when dealing with diverse cultural values. This often includes differing perspectives on the labor practices, environmental stewardship, and gender equality, among others. Therefore, balancing ethical practices and CSR across cultures demands a deep understanding of cultural sensitivity, a robust global strategy, and local adaptability. For companies operating across cultures, ethical behavior and CSR not only fulfill legal and moral obligations, but also contributes to sustainable success by fostering trust and loyalty among stakeholders worldwide. Before our team deliver the detail of IKEA case in Saudi Arabia, I would like to provide a brief overview of this case and explain why it is crucial for IKEA to implement the necessary change. Multinational companies like IKEA, a globally renowned Swedish furniture retailer, face increasingly complex ethical and CSR challenges when operating in diverse cultural landscapes and entering markets with different cultural norms. IKEA with ethical Swedish rules that emphasize values like equality and inclusivity face an ethical dilemma when it enters Saudi Arabia. To align with local cultural norms and avoid controversy, the company removed images of women from its advertisements. These decisions sparked global debates, particularly in IKEA's home country of Sweden, where the public and the government expressed concerns about the company compromising its value for profit. This decision contradicted IKEA's global commitment to gender equality, revealing the tension between maintaining universal ethical values and respecting local customs. This situation raises questions about IKEA's commitment to its global CSR goal, particularly its dedication to gender equality. The company's action was seen as contradictory to its mission of creating a better everyday life for everyone, as it prioritized local cultural norms over its core ethical principles. This conflict between adhering to cultural relativism and upholding universal values placed IKEA in difficult position, highlighting the complexity of managing ethics and CSR across different cultures. Here are the key reasons why it is important for IKEA to make changes based on cross-cultural considerations. The first thing is maintaining global values and brand integrity. IKEA's decision to remove women from advertisements in Saudi Arabia to conform with local customs conflicted with its global values of gender equality and inclusivity. This compromise, while culturally sensitive, raised concerns about the consistency of its CSR commitments across different markets. The second is stakeholder engagement and inclusivity, engaging with local stakeholders and aligning marketing strategies with cultural expectations without compromising ethical standards will allow IKEA to maintain its global principles while respecting local norms. The third is CSR accountability. The CSR dilemma for IKEA extends beyond mere compliance with local norms. Failing to address ethical concerns related to gender equality undermines its CSR framework, which is rooted in promoting social equality globally. The fourth is ethical responsibility. According to the light-based approach, this decision was seen as unethical because it perpetuated discriminatory practices against women. The last is long-term business sustainability. While adapting to local customs allow IKEA to continue operations without facing backlash. This short-term strategy risks damaging its global CSR credentials. By failing to uphold its principles of equality, IKEA may face a long-term reputational risk, which could harm its market position in regions that value social responsibility. Next, I will pass to Tanu for the in-depth information.
In this section, we'll talk about ethical dilemmas faced by IKEA. In 2012, IKEA faced a significant ethical dilemma when they altered their advertisement as per Saudi Arabian market. However, the catalog showed that women images were removed to adhere local cultural religious norms which prioritized modesty and gender roles. However, when this decision was made, it was made to avoid offending the local population of Saudi Arabian market. However, it sparked global outrage, particularly in Sweden, where IKEA's headquarters are located. Critics also argued that IKEA was compromising on its values, like gender equality, inclusivity for the business interest, highlighting tension between respecting women, local customs, norms, or upholding global ethical standards. The scandal raised important questions for the companies. First, that how multinational companies should actually navigate cross cultural ethics. Also, if there's a brand focusing on adapting a new market, should that brand consider market's cultural sensitivities or just let it violate its core values? Or should a company maintain consistent ethical standards across all religions even when they lose their business in certain markets? The IKEA Saudi Arabian case scandal exemplifies the complexities of operating across diverse cultural landscapes, where ethical dilemmas often arise by even respecting local traditions and between maintaining global ethical principles. Ethical frameworks. To further understand IKEA's Saudi scandal and similar ethical dilemmas that can come across various cross cultural contexts, we can analyze these situations through these three theories. These are the primary three approaches that I could see that fit ethical dilemma of IKEA case really well. First is utilitarianism. This approach focuses on the greatest good for the greatest number of people, evaluating the outcomes of decision based on their overall satisfaction, their overall happiness. In IKEA case, the decision was to adapt the advertisement without women images, which was seen as beneficial for the local consumers and as per their religious norms, but actually was detrimental to IKEA's global reputation. It hampered their long-term reputation in the market, in the global market, as they compromised on gender equality. Next is the rights approach, which emphasizes the importance of respecting all individuals and their rights and freedom. In this context of IKEA's scandal, IKEA's action may be perceived as undermining the rights of women by removing their images, thereby they were failing to uphold the dignity and autonomy of all their consumers. Lastly, when we talk about the common good approach, which further highlights the importance of community welfare and social harmony, but by removing images of women, IKEA aimed to promote peaceful coexistence in Saudi Arabian market, but then again it was on the cost of their commitment to gender equality, inclusivity. It sounded like a juxtaposition of ethical theories illustrating the complexities of multinational companies when they face diverse cultural environments on entering new markets. Now, in this slide, let's explore some key examples of how companies navigate ethical dilemmas in cross cultural context. McDonald's and their halal campaign. It was introduced as Make Arabia in Saudi Arabian market. Their halal certified products catered to local dietary laws, focusing on maximizing satisfaction and happiness. This aligned with utilitarianism as it addresses needs of majority of the people, ensuring cultural respect and business was successful. This was one of the successful campaigns of McDonald's. Next up is L'Oreal's approach to focusing on modesty. L'Oreal's couple of campaigns in Saudi Arabian market emphasized on modesty, respecting women and their cultural choices and values. By featuring modest clothing items and their beauty products with appropriate beauty products, L'Oreal aligns the right approach, ensuring that individuals can also express themselves while honoring their personal beliefs, choices, and dignity. When it comes to Starbucks, another logo modification happened when Starbucks tried to enter Saudi Arabian market. Starbucks modified its iconic mermaid logo to align with the local cultural and religious value in the market. This approach demonstrated a very much alignment to common good theory as it fosters an environment of mutual respect, acknowledging the importance of social harmony and respecting the community. In conclusion to ethical dilemmas part, we here are some key takeaways for companies while they enter Saudi Arabian market. Before we jump on to CSR and recommendations and strategies, let's also discuss some key takeaways here. Cultural sensitivity, balancing global ethics with local adaptation, legal compliance and customization of product, advertisements and services. IKEA should have understood and respected the cultural norms, or however they did, but missed the part of including gender roles, modesty, and similarly to what McDonald's did, they included religious dietary restrictions. Next is balancing global ethics with local adaptation. Companies like IKEA must carefully navigate the tension between what their global principles and practices and statements are and what they have to modify and change while they adapt to new local market standards and their culture. It is also essential for brands like IKEA to understand and follow local laws such as gender segregation, censorship regulations, etc. Lastly, customization of advertisement, catalogs, products, and services must adhere to the local norms, the store layouts, appealing to all sort of genders, local consumers, while maintaining a global brand identity.
Now let's take a moment to examine this pyramid. As we can see that IKEA is already abiding by all the laws and legal regulations of the country it's operating in. But is it the only responsibility? No, there's a lot more than that, and that is ethics and the CSR part. Tanu already discussed all about ethics, and now let's move towards the tip of this pyramid, that is the CSR. So, what is CSR? In simple terms, CSR is the corporate social responsibility, which means that it is the commitment of a business to act ethically and contribute to social, economic, and environmental well being of its stakeholders. In this case, we'll be talking about three key theories of CSR, that is, a stakeholder theory, strategic response framework, and virtue theory. So, the stakeholder theory emphasizes the need to consider the interests of all parties affected by a business decision. In our case, we have three key stakeholders, that is, the Saudi customers, global customers, and the employees. So, now the question is that whose values should take priority? Apparently, all three key stakeholders have different interests. So, how should IKEA act in this challenging situation? The conflict of interest is that should IKEA prioritize cultural adaptation or do it prioritize its commitment to gender inclusivity? Apparently, IKEA should uphold its universal morals, especially its commitment to gender equality, because that's what its values are. Moving forward, we'll be discussing the strategic response framework. Now, this theory provides us with a very useful tool to analyze how big businesses adopt to external pressure. And in our case, it's the cultural expectation. Now, based on this theory, there are three key strategic responses that a company can potentially adopt to, and these are the defensive, accommodative, and proactive stances. So, in our case, it's very evident that IKEA adopted a defensive stance because it completely removed women from its advertisements. It did not account for its global commitment to gender inclusivity and just tried to adapt culturally, focusing only on local customs. Now, a more accommodative approach would have been to represent women in a culturally acceptable way. It would still get aligned with IKEA's commitment to gender equality. And even better, a more proactive approach could have included, actively promoting gender equality and engaging the community-based programs, and at the same time include women and men equally in its advertisements. Now, coming towards our third and last theory, that is the virtue approach. Now, the virtue approach emphasizes on cultivating virtuous behaviors in decision making. The conflict in IKEA's case, as we see, is that IKEA respected local traditions, but it compromised on its global commitment. So the question is that did IKEA really act with virtue? Apparently, it did not, because a more virtuous approach would have aimed to balance the respect for local traditions and its commitment to fairness and gender inclusivity. And this was the kind of courage that the stakeholders expected from IKEA, but it did not fulfill the stakeholders' expectations.
So, moving on to the recommendation, I would like to suggest that ICA involving the local stakeholders in order to better understand how to foster diversity while honoring cultural differences or successfully balancing global values with the local concern. As according to Donald's guidelines for managing ethical conflict in a global business context, ICA could have deposited women in culturally appropriate roles that aligns with the local customs, as this approach allowed ICA to maintain its commitment to equality without compromising fundamental human rights, mitigating criticism regarding its inclusivity and gender equality principle. Now, I would like to discuss a few additional strategy that ICA might perhaps implement. Uh, a culturally oriented marketing, as ICA could work closely with the Saudi cultural experts, sociologists, and marketing specialists to identify cultural acceptable ways to portray women in its ads. This can involve showcasing the woman's professional educations or family setting while respecting modesty norms, and as creating campaigns that women in position of responsibility for influencing the business owner, models, or educators in a sensitive cultural way that can reflect ICA's gender respect for Saudi tradition. Before rolling out this campaign nationwide, ICA can also run test ads in cities like in a regions to public perception and response. This allows the company to adjust the campaigns based on feedback, ensuring that the message resonates with the local audiences. So moving on the second point, global CSR campaign. ICA can launch a global CSR in promoting gender equality in diverse markets such as Saudi Arabia. This approach demonstrates ICA's commitment to ethical business practices while respecting local culture, and also to navigate the complexity of upholding gender equality values in regions with strict culture norms. ICA should adopt a proactive approach to communication, engaging in continuous dialogue with local regulators, NGOs, and community leaders will also help to ensure transparency and build trust. And by collaborating with these groups, ICA can better understand the nuances of local culture and adjust its strategy accordingly. Developing clear messages emphasizes ICA's global commitment to recognizing the importance of cultural sensitivity. And also, ICA should run test campaigns that can collect feedback for refining messages. This process will help ensure the communication clear, respectful, and impactful in the local context, and strengthen and to develop a strong communication channel both internally and externally. ICA should align its global team on the importance of cultural sensitivity and inclusivity by providing training on how to effectively engage with diverse market. And as externally, ICA can leverage social media into store materials and public education campaigns to communicate its value while remaining response to local feedback. So, lastly, engaging stakeholders and maintaining dialogue. So, as according to the stakeholders theory, it suggests that ICA should engage it with all affected parties, finding a solution that align both with global commitment, local expectation, and gender equality. ICA should partner with local women's organization and community groups to better understand the unique challenges faced by women in Saudi Arabia, as this collaboration would provide valuable insight into culture norms and social expectations, allowing ICA to develop marketing strategy that align with local values. By working with these groups, ICA can also support women's empowerment initiatives, ensuring its efforts as meaningful and resonate with the community. To ensure these advertisements complying with local regulations and cultural sensitivities, ICA should engage in open discussion with the social regulators. This dialogue would help ICA understand legal expectation, ensuring its campaign promote gender equality without crossing cultural boundaries. By maintaining transparent communication, ICA can build trust and demonstrates its respect for local norms while advancing its inclusivity goals. ICA can introduce public campaigns or educational materials that generally presents its global values in a cultural sensitive way. These materials should emphasize shared values like family and community while respectfully promoting women empowerment by aligning its messaging with local tradition. As per proactive approach, ICA might be involved in promoting gender inclusive in way that aligns with the local norms while staying in a true ICA's values.
Thank you for Samila's share recommendation part. So now I will share IKEA's actions and replication part. Let's get started. About IKEA action, we are talking about adapting to local norms. IKEA removed an image of women from its advertisement in Saudi Arabia in order to comply with the strategy culture relations of the nation and to prevent the possibility of facing legal and popular criticism. For replication, we divide the three parts. The first part is global criticism, and the second is ethical conundrum, and the third one is the CSR impact. Okay, let's get started. The first one is global criticism. So IKEA was charged by both the public and the Swiss government of breaking its promise to support women's rights in order to make more money. A lot of people were left asking if IKEA would stick to its core values in the future. The second one, ethical conundrum. It was IKEA's choice that shows to confidence between universal goals like equal rights for women and the aspects of curtain culture traditionals. When IKEA put Saudi rules ahead of women's rights, it looks like the business has given up on its moral stance on the issue, which hard is in other part of the world. The last one is the CSR impact. As a result of the ruling, issues were raised regarding whether multinational corporation ought to omit its corporate social responsibility practice in order to conform to the local environment. Even if doing so would mean giving up on base values such as equality and inclusive, especially when conducting a business in locations that have a large number of different cultures. The access of IKEA show how difficult it is to strike a balance between local customers and universal ideals. So now I will share download science guidelines and how IKEA can benefit from this. Let's get started. To help IKEA deal with the normal and social issue it faces in Saudi Arabia, download science suggestions can be used to help the company deal with regional difference while staying true to its core benefits. The download science rules the stressed the importance of finding a balance between following universal morals standard and respecting different cultures. So for download the guideline respect to core human values. This means holding basic human rights and values like equal right for men and women, no matter what culture they come from. If a business doesn't speak basic human values, it should learn about and honor the customer and norms of the area it works in. What the host country culture, security, and economy are like should taken into account when making decisions. Yes, now let me talk about how IKEA can benefit from download science guidelines. So we divide the three parts. So the first part are stakeholder engagement. So find the key stakeholders. IKEA should make a list of all the important people who have a stake in the matter, such as the local customers, government workers, and some groups. So taking and working together, have an open conversations with these people to find out what they think and what they expect. So this can be IKEA find a balance between its world goal of equal pay for men and women's and the customers of place where it does the business. Making solution together to work with the people who have a stake in the matters to come up with advertising plans that stick times to local customers and generally promote gender equality. The second part is a strategic response from work. So being defensive is not the way to go. Instead, IKEA could be flexible by thinking of creative way to include men and women in advertising that are in line with local norms. So putting women in traditional clothes or jobs they are okay in their sociality is an example. Take to support equal right for men and women in ways that fit with local culture. For example, help Saudi Arabian women go to school or start their own businesses. So give IKEA's marketing team training in this area to make sure that understand and accept cultural differences when they can making the campaigns. So the third part is maintaining global CSR commitment. So make sure that the main message of equal rights for men and women is the same in all the places. So, but the way it's delivered is changed to fit each market. Be honest with people around the world about the difficulty and reason behind the choice IKEA makes about the advertising in different markets, stressing the company's direction to both local deal and the global ones. So by following download science the advice, IKEA can work in place with a lot of different cultures while still staying true to its core values and global CSR promises. Thank you. For inclusion, IKEA's problem in Saudi Arabia show how hard it can be for global companies to deal with tough moral and social responsibility issues in place with different cultures. IKEA's decision to leave women out of its ads because it was against local customers caused a disagreement between its commitment to equal right for men and women and the Saudi market's cultural norms. This action allows the IKEAs to keep running their business without any problem in the area, but it also raises a lot of questions about their commitment to global CSR values, especially when it came to gender equalities. Multinationally companies face to talk test when they try to balance universal principle with local customers. IKEA's moral dilemma show how important it is for businesses to find a balance between doing business and sticking to their core values. Use ethical decision-making framework like the right basis the most, and the common good viewpoint show what might happen if you give up on goal like gender quality to fit in with local norms. multinational companies need to keep up with the strategies that they into account local consensus will still sticking to their global principle in order to keep their good name and do what they need to do for a CSR. Companies can make their global CSR goals to fit different cultural setting by talking to stakeholders and pushing for a practice that includes everyone. This way, they can always act in a normal and socially acceptable way. Thank you.